Oh wait, we were live that whole time. My bad.
Oh, now everybody knows.
Now everyone knows my secret. Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Whole time.
My bad. Oops, was
Sorry, that was
me?
my bad because I didn't have the stream muted.
First off, everybody, listen to our vocals and let us know if one of us is too loud or too quiet. Alice, could you say something really quick?
Yeah, sure. I mean, butts.
Ow, my ears! Because it's really loud on my end, and I don't know if it's really loud for everybody or just for me and my sensitive ears. But before you go, while you guys are waiting to respond to that one, I want to say hello to Make Test Battle. Thank you for sharing this stream. YouTube gave me a big congratulations. Said congratulations, Make Test Battle shared your stream. Or shared your video. So that was, I've never had YouTube congratulate me for a video getting shared before. So that was pretty cool. Oh, Empire said it sounds fine. I had to recycle my chat. It stopped. Tisha Keys in here. Thank you, my girlfriend. I love you. Thank you for coming by. Leon, Jack Taylor, NorCal Nerf Club, American Foam. What's up, my dude? California Nerf, Slaedur, what's up, my brother? BZ, Homely, Nerfer113, where my mods at? Toxic Nerf, what's going down? Daniel B, what's shaking? Pete Fuzzy Pete, Valor, what's up? All my friends are here. Thank you for stopping by. This is the show with the most generic name I could have thought of. Interview series number 27. Yeah, I should have thought of something better, but I didn't think it would be a continuous thing. But first off, before we start, I have to give a shout out to all my big, fat, stinky, smelly, sweaty patrons. What's going on? I want to give a shout out to my two brand new patrons, Cybrand Warrior and CasualFelon. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And all of my tier 3 patrons are going to have their links in the description of the video, and the other peasants will not. But homely 665, thank you so much, man. Valley Paranormal, Newport Nerfer113, Slaedur, NerfTurfBattle, BiggsNZ, and American Foam. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it. On to some announcements, guys. This weekend coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm sorry, I don't have the dates. Do I? I should have been prepared. Is the Santa Clara Relay for Life, and it's the it's a fundraiser. It's for the American Cancer Society, and I don't know if you guys could even read this, but I have a link in the description of this video. We are going to be having a Nerf battle at the Relay for Life. So check the link below, or if you are interested, message me through Facebook or Instagram. My social media links are in the description and in the about section. So get with me if you are in the area and are interested. That's Santa Clara, California, Silicon Valley. Yeah, get with me. I will respond. I don't have much going on, so I like to get messages. And also, Blaster Tag Association, BTA, the competitive 5-on-5 King of the Hill. We need referees for that. If you guys are interested in coming by and helping ref, the link to the website, Blaster Tag Association, is in the description of this video. So check it out if you're in Northern California, or if you're somewhere else and you just want to come out to one of the games and help out. And even if you want to play, there's always people that don't show up and they're grabbing, just floaters to teams. So if you want to play, you're probably going to get a chance to play if you come out. But we do need refs. So I just wanted to relay that to you guys. All right. Today we have a brand new interview for you, a brand new chat, if you will. And what you guys could do is ask questions in the chat, and make sure you put @BrokeNerfing and spell it out, type it out the way that my name is on the on my channel. That way I will be able to see your I'll be able to see your message, or else I will totally skip it. Like Nerfer99 just left check out Nerfer99's comment. That's how you want to do it, guys. He knows what's up. And just for that, I am going to start out with his question because he did it correctly. That's my mods. They're on point. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Alice, are you ready to get this train rolling down the tracks?
I am ready. This is my first time doing a Google Hangout, and I've now realized exactly how stressful it was because I took a swig of milk and burped, and it swapped to my video just to make sure everyone knew that I burped.
Did it just swap to me when I was like, this almost went out my nose?
I don't think so, but I've got the replay coming. We'll see.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yes, it did. There you go.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Any sounds you make, if you're rifling around with stuff, if you're doing anything, it'll switch to you, which is kind of unfortunate sometimes. So I'm starting off right with Nerfer99 just because he did it correctly. He's saying, Coatduck, how have you been? So how have you been?
Oh, not bad. Just slugging away, working on stuff. Unfortunately, I've been pretty busy with work. I had 2 jobs that were really, really difficult, and it's taken me away from doing NERF things for like a week and a half. It's horrendous.
Now, what is it that you would say that you do for in the hobby? Like, how would you describe yourself to the people who may not know who you are?
I make videos sometimes. I used to make videos a lot more. I like making blasters that are like pretty and pristine. A lot of people do like these really intense weathering jobs, and that's incredible, and they're incredibly talented. But I like my blasters to look spotless, which makes for lots of maintenance. Now mostly I do live streams where I design parts that are sometimes open source. Admittedly, I wish they were open source more. But yeah, usually like every once a week on Saturday nights, because again, what else am I going to do with my Saturday nights? Not like never mind. Yeah, so I design stuff and do live streams and occasionally put out videos where I paint pretty things.
Now you pretty much just design every part of the blaster, correct? Like you could the blaster itself, the internals, everything. Like you could just design the whole deal in its entirety.
Yeah, actually, I've got a couple in the works that I can't tell you about, but
oh, come on, we need the exclusives.
Here we go. This is my version of the rainbow cannon, which I initially made for Jengular as a Secret Santa gift, and then never got around to finishing my own. But yeah, it's in the works. But yeah, I'm kind of at the point right now where I keep biting off more than I can chew, and so I have like 4 or 5 different blasters that are in various states of completion, and I really need to just pick one and hunker down and work on it.
That was also known as the Fabu cannon, correct? Or
yeah. So Jengular's version was the Fabu cannon, but it would be weird if I called mine the Fabu cannon because,
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And that had, like, if I remember correctly, it had you had the LEDs in there and
yeah.
Arduinos and all that good stuff.
There wasn't an Arduino in Jang's, but it did have LEDs and a battery in the grip that actually gave it a really nice balance and weight to it.
Yeah, he brought it to I think I saw it at BTA actually, and that it was like super like smooth, like it was legit, like almost seamless. It was like it was very like it doesn't even seem like a 3D print to me. It seemed like too smooth. It was really a good job. Is there something special that you use in your 3D printers? Like, do you mod them somehow to make your prints the way that they are?
Yeah, so I modify all of my printers a lot, uh, to the point where a lot of people make fun of me for it. But yeah, no, I do all sorts of stuff to my printers, and I'm currently working on a new one that I just didn't even bother running out of the box. I just like took it out of the box and didn't even build it as it was designed. I just started making modifications before it was even done. So that's, if anybody knows about 3D printing, it's an Ender 3 as a base kit with i3 Mark III electronics and tech. And I think it's going to be one of the nicest printers out there once I get it finished. But
Nice.
other than that, it's just a lot of sanding, wet sanding, a lot of wet sanding. I got most of I learned almost all of it from Foam Data Services. So credit to him, because yeah, he got me using the right sandpaper and the right techniques and everything.
Tom, you said Foam Data Services?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tom's awesome. Yeah, he just me just being new in the hobby and learning how to learn how to rewire and all that stuff is he was a big help. And like he, I messaged a question in his YouTube once and he answered me like within like hours. It was really cool. And like we had a little conversation back and forth where he was helping me through it. So yeah, it's really cool. I really appreciate people in the hobby who are creators online on the social media, who are willing to speak to the people in the hobby and answer questions for them. You do the same as well, which is really something I appreciate, especially in your streams where you do the designing streams where I go to them like to talk, but that stuff goes way over my head. I have no idea what's going on, but it's just really cool. I mean, the people who do know what's going on, they're asking a lot of questions, and you even get feedback from them, which is really cool. We had another question here that I wanted to get to. Empire is asking, how did you first get into Nerf?
Oh, well, I mean, when I was small, it was, popular with all the kids. And I think when I was a kid, I got into it because I was walking home with my best friend, and this kid who, in hindsight, definitely had a crush on me, and I just did not click. He camped out behind a bush with a stock midnight or whatever the blue long shot was, because it just came out and he got it for Christmas or something. And so he camped out behind a bush and waited for like half an hour so he could like surprise attack me. And then it sort of became an arms race, which sounds cute and fun, except at the time I was like ready to murder this kid. So like I took a lot of convincing because my parents weren't a fan of the whole gun thing. But I managed to get them let me get a pair of I don't remember what it's called. Fire Cross something. It's Hasbro. I swear they have a big hat full of different names and they just pick two and put them together, and that's how they name a new product.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, and so I got two of them and modded them, and I mean, they ended up being better than a stock long shot because it's a stock long shot. And so I retaliated, and it was an ever-growing arms race. But yeah, I kind of got out of it, and then probably many years ago now, I was getting my roommate something for Christmas, and I found double strikes, and I thought they had just come out, and I thought they were really cool, like the priming mechanism, and so I bought them and modded them, and then I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole and just kept clicking on videos, and suddenly it was 4 days later, and I hadn't showered, and my hair was greasy enough that you could power candles with it. Like, it was bad. And then that was it, and it was in. Drac had a hand in pulling me in, because I did 3D printing stuff before that, and I wanted to 3D print a crossbow, so I told him that, and he dragged me in kicking and screaming, and that was it. I'm here now.
Well, we're glad to have you. Now, I heard this story earlier when I was watching one of your other streams, Jay Nerf's interview with you. Now you were mentioning that you actually set up a war at your gymnasium when you were in like grade school or something. Could you?
Yeah, I did.
Talk about that.
I forgot about that. That was the end result of that arms race between me and, give me a moment, Dylan Shaw.
Dylan Shaw. I'm looking him up on Facebook right now.
There you go. Yeah, it just got progressively more and more intense, I'll say. And then I realized we were just having so much goddamn fun that I hated gym class. So I organized a Nerf battle, and it took a lot of convincing on the part of several staff members, and it almost didn't happen. But it did, and we booked the gym for a whole 2 periods. So it was like an hour and a half of nerfy fun, just a bunch of kids shooting each other. Yeah, that was my first and only time organizing a Nerf war.
That's actually really cool. When back then, when you were into modifying them already and in your whole arms race, was there any other hobbies that you were into as well, like growing up at all, or was that kind of it?
Oh yeah, I one year my dad got me a remote control airplane. It was a piece of crap. I won't lie to you, it was a piece of crap. But everybody in the family told my dad that I was going to break it in a week, and they were surprisingly all correct. But I found all the pieces and fixed it and learned to build them. And I actually have a couple planes laying around, one of which I made a few years ago, and then one of which was actually from around that time. And it was all constructed from balsa, my own design. It actually flew pretty decently, but I never finished it. So I need to do that at some point.
So you've always been kind of creative, it sounds like, that you get into these hobbies and then you start designing your own models of things. Is that safe to say that you're kind of just everything you get into, you just become kind of a creator in it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's the way you put it makes me sound very elegant, but in reality, it's more like I have unending curiosity, and that also sounds like I have a lot of curiosity, and it never goes away. So it torments me in the back of my mind until I do something about it. But yeah, like, I mean, even my favorite tools are modified. Like if something is not exactly how I want it, and I realize that I can make it exactly how I want it, then I just do that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I think that's a really good trait. Speaking of your creations, Make Test Battle is asking, when is Project Malice coming out? And he asks, and how was it to work with Winston Moy? Uh,
Oh,
yeah, but first I wanted to see if you could, while you're answering that, could you explain what Project Malice is to the folks that may not know?
so let me check my desk. Yeah, here's one. So I made a flywheel cage. Actually, I've made several different versions of the flywheel cage, but the latest iteration I'm calling the Malice cage. Um, and it's basically just actually, to be fair, my flywheel cages predate most 3D printed cages, but it's my version of a 3D printed flywheel cage that sort of addresses all of the things that I wanted to see in a flywheel cage. And so here I got one right here. This is actually missing the feed guide, but I just opened my desk and there was one sitting there, so I picked it up. But it's gotten many iterations and incarnations at this point. So this is the Raven version, but I've also got 3.5 strife cages on my desk. There's a dual stage version over there that never saw the light of day. What else? I have them for every Hasbro blaster except for the Modulus Demolisher and Fortnite ARL. But they're all one flywheel cage, so I just have to, actually do that at some point. Yeah, so it's my version of a flywheel cage, and I really like it. And everyone that I've shown it to really likes it as well. And I sorry, I was talking to. I had a general question for Winston Moy, who is a fellow maker YouTuber, and he's really good, and he does CNC things. And when it comes to like home CNC, he's probably the biggest YouTube channel out there. I mean, there's channels like NYC CNC, but they're working out of like a shop that's got like, $500,000 worth of CNC equipment in it. So it's like not exactly comparable. Yeah, no, Winston is extremely talented, and I had a question for him, and he answered it and was curious as to why. And so I showed him some of my designs, and he thought that my designs were really good. So we started talking more, and one thing led to another, and we're working on a collaboration together, which I cannot share a lot of. But if you want your sneak peek exclusive,
Yes.
there you go. There's your sneak peek exclusive. So that is a collaboration between me and him, and his work on Pavel, his Pocket NC 5-axis CNC machine. And it's gorgeous, and I cannot explain to you how gorgeous that is. So as for when it's going to come out, me and Winston are actually meeting up for Bay Area Maker Faire. So I'm going down your way actually, and yeah, we're gonna hang out and film the last bit of our videos together, and yeah, you'll see what happens then.
That's awesome. And now, are you looking to actually be selling these designs, or is this just kind of a design you guys are working on together, just for like a few or one or two?
So the work with Winston, he did an amazing job on these, but the machining time was almost 10 hours for him. So if you consider what CNC time costs, that's he's told me, and I don't quote me on this because he'll probably murder me, but he's told me that he would be willing to sell them. However, it would be for a price that is like nobody in their right mind would buy one. It's not a good idea. It's not a good no. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so the CNC'd like aluminum ones are probably not ever going to be out there for people. But I do have plans to, and I don't want to say too much because there's a lot going on. It's stressing me out a little bit right now. In regards to how I want to get these out there, but there are a couple channels and lanes I want to go down for getting the cages out there, because I mean, I'm biased, but I also think they're the best cage out there.
Yeah.
I also designed them exactly for my needs, so obviously I'm going to think it's the best. But I do want to get them out there, and I am going to get them out there, and it's just a matter of making sure that all of those lanes converge all at the same time, and it's very stressful.
Okay. That makes sense. And I've seen, I actually saw it on the Instagram, some of the, a picture of it being, showing it being machined and everything. And I also saw the Shapeco CNC wood cage that was pretty cool. Now was that you that was doing the wood cage, or was that also Winston?
No, it's me. It was actually this is my first attempt at CNC, and I had a couple different troubles with the machine, so it didn't end up working out. As you can see, it's just a mildly cage-shaped block. But I basically like threw myself in head first and picked the most complex 3D model that I owned.
Yeah.
And then picked a material that was nice but dirt cheap so that I could screw it up a million times and it wouldn't be a huge financial burden. So yeah, flywheel cage came from just needing complex geometry, and the wood came from wood being relatively cheap and a good thing to learn machining on. But who knows if I mean, don't expect a line of wooden flywheel cages, but if I get good at machining, I mean, in an ideal world, at some point, I would be so good at machining that I could knock one of these out in wood, and just that would be how I'd learn. That's my goal for learning.
Right on. And yeah, before we get any more comments about if they're going to be for sale or something, they're not intended for selling those, correct? Because I read it on your Instagram and people were already asking questions and saying things like, that's not ideal for a cage.
I put in the post, like, I just was learning CNC. It's not, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be selling these cages. And I had like 4 people like, where can I buy them? And this is a terrible idea. Don't ever do this. And it was like,
yeah, no matter what, people are still they're still gonna say, they're just gonna. It's like those articles where they put the clickbait headline on there, and you got to read the article because it's not as bad. But then you have all these comments on Facebook like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that," and they, But you're like, dude, you got to read the article. That's total clickbait.
Yep. And saw somebody mention in chat. So part of the reason that this is not probably going to go anywhere, I mean, again, I might end up with one for show, but it's not going to go anywhere, is because wood expands and contracts. And the way to prevent that is to stabilize it, which is an extremely difficult and expensive process. It's very time consuming and entirely not worth it. So neat idea, but not going to happen, unfortunately.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to go into a mission and then, you know, halfway through it starts raining and then you're like 42.5 millimeter cage turns into like a 44 millimeter cage because it just expands.
But I imagine like when the motors get really hot, it would probably smell kind of nice coming through the cage. You know, I would assume. I like that kind of woody smell.
Yeah, that might happen.
We had another question that I didn't want to skip past. Is Jack Taylor was asking, would you recommend a modulus regulator more or less than the Strife or even a modulus ECS10?
I hate the regulator so much.
Really? I just got one
with a burning passion. And the thing is, if you want to turn it into a hyperfire, then that's great. Cool. It's a different form factor of hyperfire. If you want to preserve the select fire, you are better off ripping out the control circuitry and building your own control circuitry and dropping it in, which is what I did in my only regulator build, because I spent like 2 or 3 months on it, getting it to work properly. I have to be honest, there's a lot of tutorials out there talking about how you can do motor braking with MOSFETs. And I talked to a very good friend of mine, who I will leave nameless because I don't want to shame him in public. But he gave me a rough circuit diagram for doing motor braking. And I tried it out. And on the 3rd trigger pull, it went up in smoke and shorted out my LiPo.
Oh.
And I talked to him and I was like, what the hell? How did this, like, what did I screw up? He's like, oh no, that can happen. It's rare, but that can happen. And so I like looked through, and like 95% of the motor braking circuits that are powered off of an Arduino in the community use the same circuit or some slight variation of it. And that is horrifying to me.
Yeah.
And so this was a commission for somebody who had trouble seeing, like problems with eyesight, and dexterity. And I couldn't do that. Like if there was even a 0.1% chance that it was going to happen, and this guy is only going to know that something goes wrong because the blaster stops working and he starts smelling smoke. And then he has to, in a quarter second, rip the entire thing apart, pull out the battery, or else it's going to catch fire. I cannot put a product out there that's going to do that. So I spent a very, very long time getting it to a point where I felt comfortable like giving that to the client, because motor braking is really hard to do in a way that is not dangerous when it comes to controlling it with an Arduino, or any microcontroller, really. So I figured out how to do it for the regulator. If I was to do it again, it probably wouldn't be nearly as difficult. It's still a huge pain in the butt. But yeah, if your plan is to take a regulator, and there's, again, I won't name names, but there's a couple tutorials out there that people upgrade them with LiPos, but they leave out massive parts. And I know enough about the circuit of a regulator to know that they destroyed it halfway through and had to go out and buy another regulator, and then didn't include the fact that they had to go out and buy another regulator in the tutorial, because yeah. So if you are dead set on hooking up a LiPo to a regulator, my recommendation would be just hook up a 2S LiPo to it. Don't try and mess with it. Don't try and upgrade the motors, because you can cause real problems. And I've actually spoken to a couple of people that have put out the videos on that and said, hey, this is irresponsible. Like this could be potentially dangerous to people, and best case scenario, they break their blaster. And unfortunately, I was not listened to, but yeah, that would be my personal recommendation is steer clear of the regulator. If you want to use the regulator and you want to upgrade it, just solder like an XT60 onto it and use a 2S LABO. And it might break, but it breaking is better than it catching fire. So yeah, modding safety, it's important.
Hello, I just dropped the USB out of my mic. Is it okay?
I think you're going through the laptop mic now.
Oh shoot, hold on. I'm sorry. The USB totally dropped out of the bottom of I knew something was gonna happen.
Oh,
am I good?
You're good. I think you might be a little loud, but I'm not sure. It might just take a second to auto adjust.
Yes, when you were talking, it just dropped right out of the the USB connector dropped right out of the bottom of the mic. So
that's fine. I went on a safety rant. It's no big deal.
That's okay. Actually, I have a friend that actually told me about his regulator that he shorted it out too. So I'm glad that you know, because my friend California Nerf sent me a regulator in the mail. He got one for his, like a coworker bought him one. So
Yeah.
he sent me one, a brand new one, which is really cool. And I was kind of a little iffy on trying to mod it myself because I'm still really new to modding and you know, and so that I'm gonna take, if I do anything to it, I'm gonna really take it easy on it and just do what you said, just 2S it, leave it at that, you know.
Yeah. And if you are looking through tutorials, and the biggest giveaway is, and again, I won't name names, but it's going to be pretty obvious who I'm talking about if you watch the video. If you see them take out the magazine lock and then not say anything about it, that means they faked the video, because the magazine lock controls power to the blaster. So the blaster is not on unless you put that in. So if you snip it off, that's the on-off switch. That's what controls the ammo counter. It's what controls everything. And the way that it works is when you put the magazine in, the microcontroller gets power, it turns on, it counts up to whatever the oh crap, I don't remember. It's got an IR sensor that detects when it's out of darts, right? I'm sorry, my brain is confusing it and the Infinus and how that works. So it's got an IR sensor that detects the darts, and then there's no way to reset that. You can't put darts in, like you can't put darts in from the top, because the only way to reset that is to cycle power to the microcontroller. So you have to pull out the magazine, and it has to detect that the magazine has come out. So you can't even solder that connection closed.
Oh, wow. I'm going to try and find that video now just just to see who it was.
I'll tell you off camera if you want, but.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to definitely ask. Okay, so I want to move to the next one that someone asked in the chat here. They said, it was Fuzzy Pete said, what is the most challenging mod that you have done?
Well, probably that one, honestly.
Oh, wow, okay.
And figuring out how to, again, because what I ended up doing in that one, because I couldn't find a good solution that I felt was safe for motor braking, and I have one now, and it's a really good solution, and I'm sure I'll do a video on it at some point. But I didn't end up using motor braking. So the hard part was writing the code basically as a PID loop, essentially, is what I ended up creating, but I didn't know how to write PID loops at the time. That's how I learned. That basically, instead of using motor braking, it would control the speed, and it would basically cheat it by using acceleration and deceleration and figuring out like millisecond timings for how the belt pusher actually moved. So that was an insane amount of work. Just figuring all that out and trial and error. And I spent weeks with the thing plugged into my computer, sitting on my bed, writing code, sending it to the thing, throwing in a magazine, trying it. It didn't work. Try it again until it finally worked.
Yes.
Oh, and on top of that, the belt push. Sorry, I'm still going. The belt pusher. The belt pusher. Again, somebody. I want to say Australian guy or maybe New Zealand guy, FriendMail.
Oh yeah, FriendMail.
After. Yeah, really cool guy. Messaged me after I put the video out and sent it out. And was like, oh, what you should do to fix this is you should extend the flaps on the pusher. Because I had a problem where it was like, if you didn't use brand new, completely fresh darts, it would just rip the darts into pieces because my pusher motor was moving so fast. I hate that thing with such a burning passion.
Yeah, I could tell. now I don't even want to mess with these things. But yeah, dang. So we got another question here, and it's one of them that I always ask at the very end of my. I always ask them at the end before the guest leaves, but we'll bring it here now since it's
sure.
He's asking it. The Hypermodder is saying, so what is your opinion on the NERF community in its current state, and how do you think it'll change and evolve?
Oh, that's a loaded question and a good way to get me to talk for 45 minutes.
That's why I always ask it.
Yeah. There's lots of things like Jangular addressed toxicity in the NERF community at one point, and it was a really good video. And Mr. Nathan touched on it a couple times. And there's so many people that have so many great perspectives that I don't want to like. Their opinions are already out there and they're great, and so I don't want to touch on that part of it. But I am in a position where I can talk about the being a woman in the community. It's not awesome. I can tell you that right now. I have people regularly say, hey, how do we get more females into the NERF community? And I have to tell you straight off the bat, the first thing you got to do is stop calling us females. It is so dehumanizing. And so many people don't understand that. And that's fine. You don't have to understand it. But if you want more women in the community, start by not describing us as the females. Yeah. But I think that the biggest issue that I've had is sexual harassment from people in the NERF community, and we're going hard here. We're going straight into it. Yeah, and I won't get into the specifics, but I have had plenty of people send me illicit messages without my permission, and illicit photos without my permission, and that's horrendous. And the truth of it is, I know plenty of women in the community who have tried to get into it and have just been so incredibly turned off and pushed away by just some people. And obviously it's not everybody, but I think people would be surprised by how many people. And if you're sitting there thinking like, oh, but I'd never do that. Well, sure, you might not, but the guy next to you might.
Yeah.
And it's really, really horrendous. And if I'm entirely honest, I've taken a step back. I used to be like really into things, I would like post on Reddit. I was in like a bunch of the Nerf discords and stuff. And I have completely withdrawn from, I still post on Reddit really rarely. And I'm still in the Brit Nerf Discord. But other than that, it's just my Discord. And even then I've actually had people, I had one or two people join my Patreon, get access to my Discord, and then start harassing me through there.
Wow.
It's really bad.
Maybe you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I've seen this. I've seen it. You know, and it's like maybe some people think they're like paying compliments, or they're just they don't understand. Like I was in one of the Facebook groups that was, I guess, primarily like Asia Nerf community, and one guy, he posted about you actually. He said, and he put a post in there, and it said, he says, "I'm so sad. I just find out my favorite Nerf modder is a lesbian," and then he put a bunch of crying face emojis, and I was like, seriously,
that was not even that bad.
It's not that bad, but I was surprised that he just publicly said it out loud. As like, what were you gonna woo her? I mean, what? I mean, it's just unnecessary weirdness, I think.
And I think one of the biggest things, apart from, you know, the very obvious, stop calling us females, it's at the very least really weird. Is when people say, "Hey, Alice, how do we get more females in the community?" It's not because they see that there is a disparity and wonder how their behavior is affecting women. It's like, well, let's say like 75% of the time, it's, I want a girlfriend that plays Nerf. How do I get a girlfriend that plays Nerf? Just a thinly veiled, like, and that's like the biggest problem is that. And I'll be honest, that was a huge part of the reason that I made such a big deal about coming out when I did the Gaben. It was like so much sexual harassment and even like small stuff. Like the fact that whenever I posted a video that referred to any other Nerfer, I would get, "Hey, is that your boyfriend?"
Oh man.
Like every single time. And to the point where at one point I did a video where I was like holding hands with a girl, and there was another guy in the video, and they were like, "Is that your boyfriend?" I'm like, come on.
That's just cringy, actually.
But speaking of cringy, I am Bobalolo says, "At Alice, would calling you my lady work? What if I tip my trilby at you while doing so? Would that woo you?" I man. My brain is rapidly waffling between responding in a sarcastic way and responding by suggesting that the next time I see him, I am going to grab him and throw him into the sun.
Oh yeah, you know, but I you know, some of the guys, I don't know if they're just really young in this hobby and they don't understand how to talk to people, or maybe it's
the young ones, dude.
Maybe it's like a country thing where they're from another country where they don't understand how they're coming. Because my girlfriend's in this hobby now. She's just starting to mod blasters. You know, it's really cool that she's into this stuff, and she was in some of the Facebook groups. She kind of deleted her Facebook, but she was in some of the groups. And whenever she posted something like random, like, "I just found this camo Apollo, you know, this is cool," just post a picture of it, she would start getting instant messages like, "Oh wow, are you gonna do something?" I mean, they weren't suggested, but she would get a lot of messages. And I'm like, she's like, yeah, a lot of these Nerf guys are messaging me. And I was like, well, you know, if I posted that, I guarantee you nobody would comment on it. Nobody would even probably like the post. But she was just posting random things that weren't like, you know, that were just random. And she was getting guys like messaging her about it like right away, you know? So, yeah, I could totally see where there is, and it's unfortunate that there is still a problem with it, you know. Watching your old interview about this, like maybe like 2 years ago, talking about it, and I wanted to bring it up and ask if the situation has gotten better in the community in the way of, you know, sexual harassment and people just treating the women in the hobby as if they're something different, you know, like really different from like it's a woman mod or the female mod, or you know, it's like something way different than the guys. But so it's unfortunate to hear that this problem still exists. I was really hoping that it hasn't gotten a little bit better since then.
I can't speak to that because I have admittedly pulled away. So
yeah,
it's possible that it's gotten a little better and I just haven't noticed, but it's gotten much better for me because I left all the Facebook groups. I left all the Discords. Like I'm out. And I just focused on doing my own thing and just working on that. Okay. Well, hold on, because as a stream tradition, somebody from chat has ordered food to my place.
Nice.
I have to go outside and get that, so I'll be back in a second.
Go for it, guys. Okay, I'm gonna hang out in the chat. I hope no one's getting swatted here. This ain't that kind of show, guys. Too much YouTubing. What's up, Bobo Lobo? What's going on, my friend? Nice to see you. See Daniel B, Boom Friendo. What's up, thirsty dudes? Yep. Tisha Key, I was just talking about you. I didn't know you were still in the chat. It's for fishing or any other hobby. It's the same. I could imagine. I noticed when you're in when we're in the streams, when I go to streams with you, Tisha. That's why I don't like going in the streams with you, because I notice all the guys like start giving you all this attention, and whether they're not saying, you know, even if they're not saying anything like, hey, you know, let's hook up or blah, blah, blah. But you could tell that the attention is going to you. You know what I mean? You could tell if I go in the stream, my big, chubby, big nosed face is in there. They see it on there. They're not going to care. But when you go in there, yeah, people start talking to you immediately. Yeah. So I was telling you about that, Tisha, that if I would post something on Facebook in those groups, nobody messages me right away. I'm lucky if I even get a message from someone new. So what'd you get, Alice?
I can find out. It was raining outside, so now I am slightly more rained upon. Poutine.
Nice.
Although that might just be deluxe fries. It's a pretty fine line up here, I'm not gonna lie to you. And tacos.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Tacos.
Wait, they have tacos in Canada? What?
Yes, of course we have tacos in Canada. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a thing that happens pretty regularly. There's a couple of people who like to order the messiest and least edible while working foods possible, so that I have to struggle because they're sadists.
That's classic. But I wanted to give a shout out to Monkeytron Collective, Scooter Girl Mel, for everything she's doing with the women of NERF and everyone who's involved in that. I think that's that's really awesome. With you know, the Facebook page they have, and they bring I think it was a Nerfer of the month or of the week. I forget if it was weekly or monthly, but they put up a new Women of NERF. I think that's awesome what they're doing. So hopefully that'll help the situation a bit too. You know, putting more focus on you know, the women that are modding and in the community, then it's, you know, they're side by side with us. It's not a big deal, you know.
So I was gonna mention that. So Scooter Girl and Archer are kind of I think they're the sort of head moderators of Women of Nerf. And I'm sorry, I had to run. My front door is far away from my. Anyway, I got to give a shout out to them because what they have done is they've created a really good space for women who want to nerf and don't want to, you know, be harassed. And so that is amazing. And then the other thing that I have to absolutely point out is that Foam Blast. Michelle and Addie are they're being awesome. They like them being out there and being into the community is, I cannot speak to whether it has improved the situation a lot. It definitely, by its very nature, it has improved the situation. But what it has done is sort of, I had this thought so well planned out, and then I had to run out in the rain. They've helped normalize it, and they've helped say, hey, you know, women playing with Nerf guns can be badass, you know. And I really have to thank them for doing that. And I obviously, like, they, you know, it's not exclusive to either group. Like Foam Blast also helps create a space for women, and Women of Nerf also helps normalize, but you know, primarily. So yeah, definitely shout out to them and to all the women who go out there and kick ass and take names. Definitely thank you for making the Nerf community more accepting.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Actually, Foam Blast, I met them before I even knew they were actually Foam Blast. You know, I was at PTA, and yeah, I met them there. They're, you know, one of the opposite teams in BTA. But yeah, I you know, when I started getting more into the hobby, watching more videos, I was like, oh, I know them. So yeah, it's really cool, and they do a lot of awesome things for the community. So yeah, it's definitely nice that you mentioned that. Eric Triton is asking, does milk really do a body good? And yes, she's always drinking it. I always do see you drinking milk. I actually drink a lot of milk myself. Like I have strawberry milk every night.
That's actually an interesting thought. I recently was looking into it, and I have two things, right? So I drink milk. I actually have a thing. It's called like aquagenic aphasia or something, or I don't remember. It roughly translates to water allergy, which, if you're sitting there thinking that's impossible, that would be a huge pain in the ass, how would you deal with everyday life? It's because it is a huge pain in the ass. And, but it means that I cannot drink just like a glass of water, so I drink milk instead, because my only other option really is like things like juice and pop that are just like 90% sugar. But I can tell you that I don't think I've ever broken a bone in my life. Maybe my tailbone at one point. But I can also tell you that, as it turns out, the reason that dairy is in the food pyramid or whatever, and the reason that it's, you know, you should have however many servings a day, is actually not due to doctors. It's due to lobbying of the government by the milk industry.
I didn't even know that, but I could believe it.
Yeah. Very little is surprising to me at this point. But I have an anecdotal point of evidence that it makes me feel great, but also actual factual evidence that it's, yeah, which makes me feel bad, but I'm still going to keep drinking milk because it's delicious and keeps me hydrated. Alice ruins milk. Thanks, Daniel.
We had another question here, BoomTendo. He was asking if you've tried other people's 3D print files, like his, or because he does a lot of the BoomCo stuff, or the Spring Thunder, and also wanted to follow that up with BoomCo, but answer that one first, and I'll follow up with another one.
So if you look right there, it's really hard to point at things on camera. If you look right there, you can see the first like 20% of a 3D printed Caliburn, which I actually had really bad problems with my 3D printer, and the Caliburn ended up, it didn't so much kill my 3D printer, but it made me so frustrated with that printer that I haven't used it since. And I now have better printers, but I haven't gotten around to finishing it. I think the Caliburn is a really good design. And this next bit rings true for most of the 3D printed designs out there, in that there are a lot of really great designs out there, but they are not how I would do it. And I become so painfully aware of that. And like even minuscule things that are so not worth it, that like when I download somebody else's files and I like put them in my slicer and I'm looking at them and I'm like, but you could do that and that would save you some print time and this would make it a little stronger, and then I redesign the whole thing from scratch. and then yeah. So there are tons of really great 3D printed things that are open source out in the community. And I want to clarify here that my personal preference does not mean that I think that my things are necessarily better.
Of course, yeah.
But I am so completely, like, I am so ridiculously particular about what I want out of the stuff that I print that I just make it from scratch. And that's, it's like, it's what I do for a living, right? Like I do contract work doing 3D modeling. I guess that means I'm a professional 3D modeler or something. So you know, booting up Fusion and drawing something out is not difficult for me. I mean, I do encounter challenges, but you know, Fusion, it feels like an extension of my limb. So it's not foreign for me to just open something up and start designing it.
Gotcha. And then that actually goes back to what we were saying earlier about, you know, when you get into the modding right away, it was because you just kind of seemed like you're creative. And when you got, you know, the RC planes, and you started designing your own stuff. So yeah, I could see that, you know, like, you know, if you're going to get a part, I mean, why not? If you have your, you know better than anyone what's going to work for you. So if you have the means, why not just to go ahead, design it yourself?
And, you know, if anybody in the NERF community is watching that makes, you know, things and posts them on Thingiverse, I want you to know that this is not a personal slight against you. And I can tell you that this part sitting on my desk right here is a probe holder for one of my printers. And it's everything. Like I have an aversion to Thingiverse and downloading other people's files. And I think I could count on one hand the number of other people's files that I've printed and ended up using, which is a shame because there's lots of really great stuff out there, like the Caliburn and the Spring Thunder and stuff like that. And I just, yeah, usually when I commit to printing something, it feels like an investment to me, and and it's sort of that hurdle of getting over that point. But yeah.
Speaking of Boomtendo was asking about his designs. I saw that in your Instagram you had a huge box of BoomCo darts, which you probably got them on sale when I did too. I got like over 1,000 of the straws in a right now.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on BoomCo? Like, do you have, because I haven't really seen you use it, but before, I mean, or design things for it. So what are your thoughts on it?
So part of my biggest problem with it, and this is why I don't really use rival rounds as well, and mega darts and things, is accessibility of ammunition. And Out of Darts is doing a fantastic job. I love Out of Darts is doing a fantastic job on trying to get rival rounds to be cheaper and easier for the community to get, and high quality. And he's doing a fantastic job. But I guess the truth is, like, when it comes to the manufacture of ammunition for NERF stuff, elite darts are in high demand. They're dirt cheap and they're quickly iterated on. Mm-hmm. So what we have is elite darts are they're so in demand that you can get 1,000 for like $20 or something, you know. And if you want to do the same with rival rounds, it's like, I don't know the going rate at the moment, but last time I checked, it was like, if you wanted 1,000, you got to spend like $100. Like, and it's just, the ammo is so cheap and so plentiful that I just have always stuck to like elite size darts. But I ran into a sale and it was $5 for 300 BoomCo darts.
Nice.
Which is, I think, cheaper than I got than I get my darts, like my elite darts. So I snatched up as many of them as I could buy, because like the biggest thing that was preventing me from ever bothering with BoomCo was like breaking into the ecosystem and having a collection of darts that I can fire off and then not spend 45 minutes looking for in the kitchen because I only have 10. Like,
yeah.
So now I have I think 800 or 1,000 or something. There was a limit to the number you could buy. Otherwise, I would have gotten like 2 or 3 times as many. Just so that I can use them and I can have them at my disposal if I so desire. I also got a the Halo shotgun thing. I don't remember the name.
Oh, I love that. I run that at the Nerf nights here once a month. Yeah, the Blaze of Glory. That's pretty sweet blaster. Yeah.
I have to be honest though, it bothers me so much because I loved it and then I took it apart and I looked inside it and I immediately started hating it because there's so much empty space, and it's like the entire mechanism is like this much in the very front of the thing, and there's like, I feel like there could be so much more modding potential, but there's not, and it bothers me. Like I would have loved, and Boomtendo, I'm sorry. I would have loved to have taken that thing and like made it into like a tube mag fed like pump action shotgun, just with like elite darts or something, and like but it's just so much wasted space that you just can't use unless you just want to rebuild the whole thing. And it made me so mad because I was so excited and I was going to have so much fun with it.
Yeah.
But meh.
Oh man. But yeah, I do really like that one. But the hyper modder is asking this is a really interesting question. He's asking, how would I or someone else make an impact in the Nerf community? How do I get people to remember my name? Basically, how do I become popular? You wanna go for that one?
Saying this as a woman, being popular is overrated. But I don't do something new.
Yeah.
If you want, I mean, if all you want is to, you know, have, you know, like 500,000 subscribers and whatever, and then, I mean, throw on a fake personality and yell a lot, because that works on YouTube.
Pretty much, yeah.
But if you actually want to make a difference and do something interesting, then do something nuts, do something new, do something that you want to do because it's fun, because you're not gonna break the meta, and people won't care if you do. You know, some people will care, but if you're looking for fame and glory, like, breaking the meta isn't new. It's like if you get another, you know, 20 FPS on your flywheel blaster, it's like, cool, you did a good job, great, thank you, but nobody cares. And that's not saying like oh, nobody cares. It's me saying nobody will care, because that's just the nature of things. Like we're constantly pushing the limits. What will get you fame and glory is oh crap, somebody did of course I'm don't remember the name, which ruins my whole point here, but the shotgun that is magazine fed and is a 3-wide magazine, and you load it in from the bottom, and it's all 3D printed and glorious. That thing is amazing. If that person that made that had a YouTube channel where they posted even decent quality videos, like, and if they do and they don't, I'm sorry. This isn't supposed to be a diss, but like, if they posted like regular-ish videos and like detailed videos and were interesting about it, they would blow up. And it's that you have to do something that is new and nuts and fun more than anything. Would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like YouTube in general, I would say, like, well, there's a lot of people that are doing like their reviews and things like that and putting them on YouTube, and then they're expecting just to get like super famous or something, or like have like Hasbro call them up like, whoa, I want you to look at our new summer line, you know, check these out. And then they get upset when they're not getting the free stuff that they assume everyone's just getting mailed to them.
Oh, free stuff is overrated, man.
But I mean, if Hasbro is watching and you want to send me free stuff, I do not endorse Alice's overrated comment about the free stuff. I would appreciate all of the free stuff that you want to send to me. Anyways, but what it should be is fun. You know, like something you want to do because you want to do it, not because you want your name to get out there, really, or you want to be famous or popular. I mean, it should be something that you're doing because your heart's in it and that you like it. You know, like me, I really love this hobby. It's done a lot for me, for my mental health and for my sobriety. It's really done a lot for me, and I kind of wanted to show other people a little bit about it and show them that, you know, like, especially veterans. I'm a veteran, and I came from a program where they kind of, you know, wanted you to find hobbies and stay active. And I wanted to kind of show the other veterans that, like, this is something that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool hobby, because we had a lot of trouble in the program finding hobbies. I was finding something that's interesting to do and it's healthy. It was kind of tough. So that's kind of was my motivation for jumping on YouTube and, you know, and showing people the hobby and talking to people doing really interesting things in the hobby, just to show that, it actually exists and it's something you could do. So that was just my motivation at it. And the more people that watch, I mean, the better, but I'm not expecting to be famous or become popular by any means. But that's just do something that because you like it, basically, not because you want your recognition for it. I would say.
Oh yeah, and if you're looking at my channel and thinking, "Wow, how do I get as popular as her?" Well, I mean, pick your role models better. Damn, like, but like, if you are choosing to use me as a role model, as misguided as that may be, then what I would say is that I have stopped putting out videos unless they are something that I really like, something that I'm proud of. And like, I was putting out videos, and like, don't get me wrong, like I put out a video on like Containment Crew sent me a bunch of stuff, and that was really cool. And I love Containment Crew, don't get me wrong, but that video didn't do anything for me. And I don't mean like analytically, because I mean analytically it did fine. But I didn't look at that video and think, wow, what a great video. I'm so happy I'm putting that out. It was like, okay, that's another video. Boom, done. Like, it didn't make me feel great, and by extension, it ended up not doing very well. Like it did fine, it just didn't do great. And I think that's like really important, and actually that touches on the free stuff thing. It's the way that I look at the videos that I make. When I think of the videos that I make, I don't think of the reviews. I think of the build videos where I spend like weeks working on a project and film every single step of it, and hours and hours editing, and then put out something that is instructional, and shows off something that like there's something that I'm really proud of. Like, the actual result of the thing that I made is something I'm proud of, and the video is something, like the video itself is something I'm proud of, and how it's edited and cut together and stuff like that. And that's like, I have to have all three of those in order for me to think, okay, this is a good video. I made a good video. I'm proud of this. And when I do that, the videos do great. Like, and that's not why I do it. I do it because I want to create art in whatever form. It's creating something that means something to me. And people can tell when you do that. And those videos do great.
Yeah, that's I could, you could see when someone's just hawking something, or when you see someone's doing something that they genuinely have interest in, and they genuinely like it, so I could see that. And yeah, you could tell on people's on the way they speak, and the way on their facial expressions. I mean, you can just tell when someone has a passion, as to when they're just like, well, I got this thing here, and I don't know, it's just you can see the difference. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh yeah, no. I want to touch on the free stuff thing, because this is actually something that means something to me, and something that I feel like I should share. And I've even considered doing a full video on it, and I might one day, but it keeps feeling like it's not worth it to me. But Lightake and NF Strike and Worker Kit, they offered to send me some stuff, and I was like, yeah, cool, awesome, I'm a real YouTuber, I've made it, people are sending me stuff. And they sent me stuff, and I did a review on it, and and posted it and whatever. And then they sent me another email and were like, hey, we sent you more stuff. I'm like, oh, cool, more stuff, I guess. And so I got more stuff, and I don't even remember what the more stuff was. But they started sending messages along with it that were along the lines of, hey, we've just mailed this out. Be sure to get this video out as soon as possible because we're just launching the product and we want your video out for when we launch the product. And please, link to everything in the description. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense, right? Fair enough. And then, like, there was just little stuff, like they wouldn't include like any sort of tracking. And up here in Canada, it takes longer to get through customs and stuff. And so it would be kind of up in the air. And sometimes packages just wouldn't arrive. And sometimes they would arrive without stuff in them. And like I kept thinking, like, if I had a tracking number, this would be so much better. And so I asked them for it a couple times, and they were like, no, we don't ever ship anything with tracking. We don't have tracking numbers. And then they started sending me stuff, and it would arrive, and then an hour after the package physically arrived, like pretty much to the dot, like an hour plus or minus 15 minutes, I would get an email saying, we know it's been delivered, do a review on it right now. And like, even at one point, they asked me to have a review out by the end of the day. Like, and it became so stressful for me that I just stopped responding to their emails, but they just kept sending stuff.
Yeah.
And then they started sending me emails like, oh, we loved your review on this thing. It was great. We showed it to everybody. It was awesome. Thank you for the review, on stuff that I never actually got in the mail. Like, and I started to slowly realize, like, these people don't care. Like, they don't watch the videos. They don't even check for them. Like, they still send me stuff. When was the last time I did a review on an NF strike thing? And I've told them before, like, I haven't done the review on whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. Here's another thing. Like,
yeah.
And like, that's the truth of it. Like, I don't do reviews on them anymore because it's not a review. It's advertisement. That's what they want. And there's lots of channels that do awesome reviews of the stuff from Light Take and NF Strike. And don't get me wrong there. But that's not what they care about. They care about advertisement. And they don't care if you give them positive or negative reviews because there are so many negative reviews. And they're still in business. They're so still in business that they have made 2 other entire companies off of that business.
Yeah.
So it's I don't do that anymore. And my recommendation to you, if you're a smaller YouTuber, is resist the temptation. They're going to try and send you crap, and it's crap. And you are worth more. Your time is worth more, and your videos are worth more. And that's my personal opinion. And I'm not dissing on anybody who does reviews, because there are great reviews out there. But that's my personal opinion, is you're better than that.
To all the companies out there who are looking for free advertisement, Broke Nerfing does not endorse the comments that were made by the Alice Coatduck. So please send all the free stuff you would like, and he will hawk the heck out of it. Just kidding. Oh yeah. Beret and I were actually talking about this a little bit when he came on about
Brett does great. Again, like, I don't want to diss any of those.
Yeah,
because Brett does a great job. Like, he's hilarious. He's fantastic.
Sometimes getting, when they think about you getting sent things, it's not like Christmas, it could be like work, and it's not as fun as you might think. And I don't even get much stuff really, so yeah, it's not a big wonderful experience sometimes. So,
yeah. The allure of, they sent me free stuff, don't get me wrong, it's like you feel so good about yourself.
Yeah.
But resist the temptation, or else, hopefully you value your time and value yourself. Yeah.
Very well said. So I'm gonna be closing up here in a few minutes. I wanted to just go ahead and ask. I'm gonna ask one more question before we go. I was gonna ask, what are your goals? What are your goals for the hobby, for your channel, for your for your designs, everything? What are your goals for the future?
That's a good question. I think I need to put out more videos. And so I actually talked about this on a live stream a little while ago and had a lot of really amazing responses and support. And that was like, hey, I have been swamped. Like what I said was, hey, I've been swamped with all different kinds of things, and who I am is I make solutions for problems. Like if I have a problem, I will build something to fix it, like 9 out of 10 times. And so I kept running into things in my daily life that were causing me problems, and it was preventing me from doing NERF stuff. But that also meant that there were so many things that I was doing and building that just weren't seeing the light of day. And I could have, I mean, it would have taken longer, but I could have thrown up a camera and filmed it and posted that video. And I realized that my passion is not necessarily restricted to NERF stuff. NERF is just an outlet for my passion that is building things and making things better and better, and designing things that are more and more optimized. And NERF is a great outlet for that, and I love it for that reason. But that's not my only interest. And so I said that on stream, and I was like, hey, like what I could do is I could start making videos on the other stuff I make. Like I put out a video on the longboard, and that went over really well. I mean, it didn't get like amazing, mind-boggling views or anything, but it went pretty well, and I loved making that video. And it made me really happy. And so I've sort of been looking to channels like, this is a pretty extreme example, but like I like to make stuff like Bob Claggett, because he does NERF mods. Like, I mean, they're almost entirely aesthetic mods. They're not, like huge upgrades, but he also does tons of other really, really cool stuff. And I watch his channel all the time, and every now and again he does things like he makes like a drawer organizer for cutlery, which I'm like, okay, well, it's cool that you use these techniques, but I don't really care about a cutlery holder or whatever. But then he'll do stuff like he'll be making like a workbench or something, and it'll be so interesting to me and something that I will want to do and end up doing. And he still does NERF mods, and he's got like what, like 1.5 million, 2 million subscribers or something. Like, I don't know. And so it is possible to not be so narrowed in on NERF. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to stop making NERF blasters because I love doing that. But I think I could make more and better videos if I also did that. But then I guess the other thing, like within NERF, is I want to do more stuff like this. Like I actually just last week I got rid of like 80%, maybe 70% of my NERF blasters, because they were all just stuff that I bought to get a couple measurements off of for flywheel cages, or people asked me for upgrade parts and I got those measurements off of them, and then I had hundreds of NERF blasters laying around. and it just it was taking up space in my life, and more importantly, space in my brain. And so I got rid of them because I realized that I have, thanks to my wonderful patrons, I have a bunch of 3D printers, and I have a CNC machine, and I have apparently the ability to make my own Nerf blasters. So why not? Like, why do I keep going back to Hasbro? Which every single time I work with some of their products, like people who watch my stream will know I sit there going, why Hasbro? So like, why do I keep torturing myself with Hasbro products when I could just make my own crap from scratch? And so that's what I'm focusing on doing is working on making whole new things myself. And I think that is going to be a real focus for my creativity and for not getting burned out, because if I get bored, I can just make an entirely new thing. You know, it doesn't even have to be a Nerf thing. It can be anything I want. And I never get burnt out on building. So yeah, I guess that's where I want to go. So let's say less Nerf brand Nerf, more me Nerf, and then just more videos, because there's so many things that I build and make that people never see, and that I can start making videos on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I because I like the longboard video. I think you put it out right before Ragnaroktoberfest, or it was right around there, but it was
Right after.
really, right after. It was really a cool video, just to see that you created that all on your own, all from scratch. That was really cool. So yeah, I think no matter what you're creating and you're putting on your channel, I think still, people like us who enjoy your content will still be watching, just seeing what you pump out. So I do look forward to that, and looking forward to more videos from you, Alice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming by and taking the time and speaking with us today. So anything else you want to say before you go?
Butts.
That's very, very good. Yes, butts. Eureka. All right. Thanks so much, Alice.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. That was Alice Coatduck. Is she still here? I don't know what's happening. That was Alice Coatduck and Butts. So yeah, I would like to have her on again, because I had a lot more notes here and the chat was very active and I didn't get to everybody's questions. So hopefully we could have you back on here again, Alice. That would be really good. There was a really good talk. You have a lot of good perspectives on the hobby. So yeah, that would be great if we could speak another time. So before I go, I have a meeting at like 7:00. The last meeting of my housing counselor from the VA. She has to do her inspection, but it's the last time, and then I'm free. She's doing these inspections monthly for like 4 years since I got out of the VA program. But so this will be the last one that I have to do. So thankfully. But anyways, before I go, remember I had the BTA announcement in the beginning. If you want to be a ref for BTA, we could really use it. The link is in the description below. We also have the Relay for Life that is next weekend. I have a link below for the Relay for Life. It's going to be a walkathon. We're raising money for the American Cancer Society, and we are also having a battle, a Nerf battle, a blaster war. I don't know what it's going to entail exactly. I don't know the details of it, what games we're going to play, but we're going to be out there, and we're going to be having some fun with some blasters as well, and it's for a good cause. If you are in the Santa Clara area, or if you are in Northern California and you could make it to it, please, we would love to have you there. And yeah, I'll be there. Some folks from our church, Boomtendo might be there. So it'll be a good time, guys. And also, if you guys like the channel, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It does help out a lot, guys. Remember to like the smash button on this video as well. If you guys do like the channel and you want to help support me, I do have Patreon. That is in the link or the description. The link is in the description. Sorry, the link is in the description. So please check that out if you would like to help support me. I could really use the help. Helps me get things like microphones and lights that are making me sweat my big fat arse off right now. But it helps me get these things that help the channel. I need a new laptop because this one is been flickering the whole time, and it's on its last leg. The device I use to edit all my videos died on me, so I'm trying to get around that issue, and hopefully I'll have some more edited meaty content for you guys soon. I know it's been a while since I uploaded an edited video, but I've been trying to keep the streams going on as regularly as I can. But it will help a lot if you do become a patron, and that is in the description, or PayPal. I do have the PayPal, and I will give you all the same benefits as the patrons get. And if you if you can't support monetarily, just make sure you subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends if you can. If you would do so much, and comment on my videos. Let me know you were here. I have social media, Facebook, the Twitter. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on all that. All the links are here, there, everywhere. Yeah. So what else do I have going on? I don't think anything else. So thank you, Alice, for speaking with us tonight. That was really awesome. Thank you for all of you in the chat who are being so active and asking questions. That was awesome, you guys. And oh, I wanted to let you know the winner of the brand new Nerf Titan that is going to be coming out soon. The winner of that is